What's up everybody? Welcome to today's video. And today we're coming outside to have a chat today because there is a much requested video on this channel, and that is about how you go about moving to Dubai. So I thought today I'd stick you all on a tripod and we'd have a chat. Although I've just noticed my light is hanging down over there. I don't know what's happened with that. Okay, that's better. So I am definitely going to start slowly melting throughout this video. So for starters, I'm going to apologise for that straight up front. When I was younger, I used to think I looked better. The hotter I got, the sweatier I got. I used to think I was like, yeah, I'm a rock star, man. I look actually good whilst I'm sweating, but not so much these days. I'm not pulling it off, especially not here in Dubai with this level of heat. So I've got a little bit of notes in front of me. This isn't going to be like a usual daily vlog today. This is going to be an informative chat for anybody that is interested about the process of moving to Dubai, how you do it, and generally what you need to do. So let's go. I've literally already got a sweat tash, but it's way too loud in the house to do this video right now. Everyone is full of energy, so it's just nice and tranquil and calm out here, so I'm going to try and pull it off. So first off, let's start with why. Why did we move to Dubai? Why are we here? What are we doing? So we have already covered this in another video, or maybe two videos, so I'll link them both down below. You can give them a watch. We did like a full Q&A smashing out all the questions to do with us moving to Dubai and why, etc, etc. But briefly, just to give you a few bullet points, we moved here for primarily a better life, more opportunity, to see a new place, live in a foreign country, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. We've literally adored Dubai the last 2 times that we've been here, and it's always been on the cards since then. Business, privacy, and the most obvious one, taxes. No taxes. And just before anyone jumps on that, yes, they do have a low corporate tax rate here of 9%, but that is way better than almost 50% that you pay in the UK if you're a business owner earning a significant amount of money. And no business, just to put it out there, there's going to be a lot of people who don't understand this or just want to throw the term tax dodger around or whatever they want to say, but they're just the people who don't understand how money works. And anybody who owns a business that earns a significant amount of money and is location free, as in doesn't need to be in any one place in the world for it to run, nobody's running money through a UK business because you're getting half of it taken away by the UK government. And if you don't need to do that, then why would you do that? You wouldn't. You'd keep it in a place like Dubai where you have 0 to 9% corporate tax rate depending on your yearly earnings, and you keep the rest of it in your pocket. It's just a smart thing to do. It's what smart business people do. So that being said, moving swiftly on, that's basically what we're doing here. We effectively closed down our business in the UK. It's still in the process of being closed, but it hasn't been used for a while now. We opened up a business here in Dubai a while ago, and in order to further that progression here in Dubai, we wanted to move out here. Heck no! Y'all can see that sweat tash on my mouth right now. That is not happening. I cannot sit out there and do this video. I will be dead in 5 minutes time. It is very hot today. So let's move it to the bedroom, see if it's a bit quieter up here. Okay, AC on 29 degrees in this room right now because we haven't been upstairs in a while. Let's set that to 22. The beautiful noise as it kicks in. Okay, much better. Nice and cool now. We're all good, although I have officially already melted, so there's kind of no point. There's no saving this at this point, so we'll just have to deal with it and move on. So, where were we? Basically, why we moved to Dubai. We moved to Dubai for a better life, basically, to give our children a better life in a country that is extremely stable, clean, prosperous, no crime, and it's just a very cool, diverse place to live. There is endless things to do and endless opportunities of things to do, and it's just a bit of a magic place, really. We fell in love with Dubai the first time we came here in 2018, fell in love with it all over again in 2022 when we came again, and it was just always on the cards, but we just had other things going on that needed to happen first. And then about a year ago when we were in Turkey, we were like, right, are we finalising going to Dubai? We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen this year. And Sarah was pregnant at the time, so we were kind of like, yep, let's get the pregnancy out of the way first and then we'll go. And that's basically what happened. And now we're here. Okay, so that out of the way, what got us to here? and how did we get here today, living in this house in Dubai, and how do you do it if you want to do it yourself. Okay, so when Sarah and I were looking into the whole process of moving everything, setting up a business here in Dubai, and physically moving here ourselves, there's a minefield of different companies that offer this full relocation package where they will literally set you up a company here, and then they will get you your visas, and then we'll get you out here, and they'll even help you as well find somewhere to live initially, etc, etc, and get you properly set up. But there is a lot of companies offering that service, and all of them, from my experience, charge different things, and a lot of them are not vague in what they are charging for, but maybe necessarily use different terminology for different things. So as a newbie who knew nothing about this process or nothing about how to do it, I was really confused by all the different kind of quotes I was getting back from different companies about what they do and how they're going to do it, and the timescales and what you need to do it. And luckily I had a friend who I met through the influencer world, who already has a successful business here and has lived here for a long time, and he put me in touch with the company that he used, and they were incredible, and they sent me everything basically in a really easy, broken down format, and their pricing was really good compared to others as well, and I finally felt like comfortable about going ahead with everything, because it literally is a minefield. There's so many little tiny steps that you have to take to be able to physically get here, that you need to kind of feel comfortable about that. It's also costs a lot of money, so you need to feel comfortable about where you're sending your money to, what they're going to give you for that money, and that everything is going to come together in the end, especially when you're dealing with not just yourself, but you're dealing with your family and young children. That's where things get really complicated. So having found the right company to do the job, we instructed them to go ahead, and they came back to us with a quote and step-by-step process of what exactly needed to happen and when, and what the requirements were for that. There's a lot of bits of paperwork and things to read through and sign, etc. A lot of Zoom meetings, and then it all kind of comes together really, really fast. So we paid this company upfront £14,000, just less than that. It was around 61,000 dirham, which is around about just short of £14,000 plus VAT. And that included our company setup, our visas, our dependents' visas, our medicals when we arrive here, because to become a resident of the UAE you have to have a medical, and then our dependents' change of visa status when we arrive in the country. So basically, once Sarah, myself and Isabel's visas came through when we were still in the UK, at that point we can then book flights to come out to the UAE, to come out to Dubai. So we booked our flights once our visas came out, and our children, Esme, Isla, Jace, Mila and Aurora, all come out with us, but on tourist visas. So anyone can come into the UAE from the UK on a tourist visa, which is a 30-day visa. So we all arrived, Sarah and I and Isabel having our 2-year visas already done, so we can enter the country and stay here for 2 years automatically, whereas our children can only enter and stay for 30 days at that point. So once you arrive, it's kind of like a time, not a time bomb, that's the wrong thing to say, but it's kind of like it's a timer, it's a countdown timer that you have to get everything squared off and done by within those 30 days, or you can get an extension of 10 days initially for free, and then you have to pay daily for each dependent to stay in the country, and it can get expensive quick. So the timer really is on to get everything sorted and squared off within the first 30 days of being here. We did, so it was all good, but this is basically the process that you have to follow once you arrive. So once you arrive in immigration in Dubai airport, you hand over your e-visa, which is an electronic visa. The immigration official will stamp it, which is what happened to myself, Sarah and Isabel, and at which point it's validated. We've entered the country on our visa, and our 2 years has officially begun. When you fly out to Dubai and you're going to live there on a visa, you can't just go there. You can't just rent a house from the UK and just like move directly into it. There's steps that you have to go through first. You have to physically become a UAE resident, like a resident of Dubai, an official legal resident of Dubai, before you can rent a home or buy a home or rent any type of long-term accommodation. The only thing you can do before that stage is rent a holiday home or stay in a hotel. So basically, usually what has to happen is you will get your e-visa, you'll fly out to Dubai, You'll validate it as you come to immigration, and then you will go and stay in a hotel for the first month whilst all of your official documents are being processed and your residence IDs are being approved and issued. Once your residence IDs have been approved and issued, then you can go and rent a house like a normal tenant, or buy a home like a normal buyer. You're officially a resident of Dubai, of the UAE, and you can go and rent a home long term anywhere in the UAE on your residence ID. But first of all, you need to get that. So the process for us was, we arrived in immigration, we arrived in Dubai, and we entered on our E-visas, the children on their 30-day tourist visas, and we pre-booked for 3 months to stay in a holiday home villa, which is what we did. We went to a holiday home villa, and then the plan is within the first month of that to get everything squared off legally so that we're officially residents and we're allowed to be here and live here long term, and then find a home to live in the last 2 months long term, which is basically what we did, although ours happened a lot quicker than that, which was amazing. But we wanted to give ourselves at least 3 months in a holiday home so that we had loads of time, especially to be able to find a house. We didn't realise how easy it would be to find a house and how quick, mostly down to our realtor being an absolute legend, but we'll come to that in a minute. So arriving at our holiday home, we've scanned our e-visas. The next stage is for Sarah, myself and Isabel, the over 18s in the family, to have a medical. So when you arrive in Dubai, the only way you can be granted a legal residency to live here full time is if you are willing to go through a medical and you pass the medical. Now the things, I'm not sure on everything that they're screening for, but they are 100% screening for tuberculosis. They're screening for HIV and AIDS and sexually transmitted infections. And then you have to have that's a blood test, and then you have to have a chest x-ray as well. I think that's for the tuberculosis element of it. So as long as you're clear of all those things, you are classed as a pass, and your residency application can move on to the next stage. So when we arrived, it was within a day. We had 1 day here all to ourselves, and then the next day we got picked up in a very nice car by the company that's handling all the stuff for us. They drive you to your medical appointment, you do your medical, and then they drive you back to your residence, and then you find out the results within 24 hours. Now I'm not sure on the exact process of what happens if you fail. Sarah's desperate to go to the pool, right? She's ready in Hawaiian gear right now. She's down to go. Take me over. Can I talk now? I failed to see why there's another 5 toilets in this house, why you had to come to mine.
Do you want me to tell you why? Because I've got a husband who's too tight to buy toilet roll for all the bathrooms.
What are you on about? I bought a massive pack of it yesterday. It's underneath the sink there.
And what good is it underneath the sink there?
I put it in all the bathrooms as well. I put at least one roll in all the bathrooms.
Toilet.
Esme and I have been robbing it again, and that's why.
Yeah.
Teenage daughters steal
This is a
toilet
man
rolls.
who won't buy a £1 bottle of soap for all 5 bathrooms.
What are you on about? No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. £1 for a tub of soap, a bottle of soap. Will he buy one for each bathroom? No, we don't need 5. Just get 3. Why? We've got 5 bathrooms. Trust me, we don't need them. What do I find in my bathroom? My expensive shampoo being used as a hand soap.
Yeah, no one cares. They want to hear about how you moved to Dubai. No one cares about your hand soap. Hurry up so we can go to the pool and get out.
I'm just going to fill it quickly.
Can I still keep talking?
Yeah.
People are going to hear you on the toilet though. That's the straight manky, mate.
And do you know what?
No one wants to hear you peeing.
Hey boy, I want to see if you can go downtown with a girl like me.
Yeah, bye. I don't know where I was before Sarah cut me off, but I think basically I was saying is that I don't know what the process is if you fail the medical, but I know that you can't be granted a residency if you've got any of those things wrong with you. So if you have HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis, there's some instances where they'll treat you in hospital here and then review, and then maybe you'll get a provisional residency granted for a short period of time. I don't know for definite, so if I'm talking rubbish then just don't jump on me, but I'm pretty sure that you can't get a residency if that is the case. So that's why they screamed for it. So obviously we passed ours, we had no issues obviously.
Is it like a burden on the healthcare system then?
I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know the honest reason, to be honest. But obviously we got our results back very quickly within 6 hours, and which was great. We didn't have to even wait 24. So our residency was, at that point, your residency is approved and you are signed, sealed, done a resident of the UAE, and you can travel between all the different United Arab Emirates as a citizen, and that's for 2 years initially. The next stage in the process is you have to go and have your biometrics done, which is basically an appointment where this company that we instructed to do all of this for us, they came and picked us up again in a limo, and we went to the biometrics appointment, and you go in and you have your fingerprints taken and your photograph taken. Once that's done, your Emirates ID, which is your residence card, which you use for everything here, literally everything. So if you're taking out a mobile phone contract, you're buying a car, you're taking out finance, a credit card, a loan, whatever it is, it's all done on your Emirates ID. And whenever someone brings you like a package or something that needs signing for, you slot your Emirates ID into the little scanner thing they've got there, and you use your thumbprint or fingerprint, whichever finger it asks for, to approve it. It's a really good, efficient system. But once you've got that, you're an official resident, you're done. And then at that stage, your dependents visas can start to be processed. So our children's visas here couldn't even start to be processed until we were official residents, signed, sealed. So once that happened, which is within about a week of us being here, that's when all of their visas are gonna start processing. And theirs all processed again really quickly. We had all of theirs back and all of their Emirates IDs back within about another week after then. They don't have to do the medical, they don't have to do the biometrics or anything like that. They just have to do like a passport photograph and an application form, basically. And we sponsor them as our dependents to be here living with us, basically. So whilst we own a business here, we are entitled to be here, and I can basically, as the business owner, sponsor other people to live here with me, my dependents, which is basically how that works. So the children get visas here because I'm here because of our business that we own here. So if that makes sense. And that's the bare basic bones of how you get here. Once everyone's got a visa and you're here, visas last here for 2 years, and then after 2 years you have another medical to make sure that you're still healthy, etc., and then you can extend it for another 2 years, and then eventually you can get what's called a golden visa, which is a 10-year visa. All dependent on whether you buy property here, how well your business is doing, things like that. So it's a really, really good system, and it is pretty easy to get here. Once you find the right people to take care of all the little bits for you, it's fairly straightforward. All of the appointments that you get taken to, you get picked up and dropped off for. They're very quick, very efficient, and very professional. And my medical was like injection in my arm for the blood, chest x-ray immediately afterwards. I was in and out within like 6 minutes, literally. It was very, very fast. So it was no biggie at all, basically. So once you are a resident of Dubai and you're officially legal to be here, etc., then you can start looking for somewhere to live long term, which is where then we started to look for a home. And luckily, through a mutual friend of ours in the UK, we already knew a really good realtor out here, and we became extremely good friends. He was amazing at finding us, basically. It took us out over a week's period. We went and viewed literally 50 houses. We knew we wanted to live in the area that we're living in right now because it's just absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing place. It's extremely close, transport links wise, to everything. Literally, we're living in the middle of the desert in Dubai, in this beautiful, incredible, self-contained city, basically, of its own right, with a water park and pools and malls and everything you could possibly ever need. But you're not in the hustle and bustle of the city and the noise of the city and the traffic of the city. So it's just so nice. It's one of the most sought after areas in Dubai of the last 2 years. I think the plots here, the house plots, they sold out so fast when they were all released. There's kind of different stages of homes here. There's like the holiday home type rental places like we were staying in initially, and then there's villas, and then there's mansions, which are all lined. The mansions here, the really big houses, they're all lined around the water park area overlooking all the pools there. Very, very beautiful. Although the water park's not been open the whole time we've lived here so far because they've been doing upgrades to it. That is due to open in 1 week's time, so I'm really excited for that. Hopefully that's going to be absolutely amazing. We knew we wanted to live here in the area that we're living in right now, just because it's out of the way of the traffic and the hustle and bustle, and it's just an extremely safe and beautiful place to live. It's very close to being able to get to lots of different places from here, and you literally, once you get out of the 15-minute city that we're in, which is like a 10-minute drive around the loop, it's 20 minutes into Dubai, so it's no biggie whatsoever. And the great thing about the road system here is it's all just super fast. It's all kind of like motorways everywhere. There's no like small narrow B roads or like tight trafficy city roads. It's just motorways everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. Everywhere is super quick, easy, fast to get to, and there is no messing about whatsoever. We do the drive into downtown Dubai probably at the minute, probably every day or every other day, and it's just a really lovely drive and a really lovely drive back as well. And it never feels like any distance whatsoever. It's so beautiful as well. When you see the Burj Khalifa getting closer and closer on the horizon, it's just it's very cool. It's a very cool feeling indeed. I've just realised I've missed out a massively important step. So in order for you to have your children here and for them to have dependent visas and live here full time with you and be residents as well, you need to have a full-time residence here and certain government paperwork and accounts to be able to have their visas approved. So I've missed out a huge step here. I need to backtrack a little bit, but instead of refilming this video, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to backtrack a little bit and make it make sense. So once Sarah, myself and Isabel's residency cards were approved and issued and we were full residents at that point, their dependent visas, our kids' visas, start to process. But in order for them to be signed off and sealed, we need to have two things. One, a thing called an ijari, which is basically a tenancy agreement, so a long-term tenancy agreement here. And two, we need something called a DEWA, which is a Dubai Electric and Water Authority, an account basically. So an account to say that we have a tenancy agreement for at least a year, and an account with the Dubai Electric and Water Authority to say that we're paying bills here basically. So you need to have those two things before your dependents' visas will be accepted and finalised. So when the children's visas were being processed, that's when we were looking for a house and finding a house, and there is a time ticking on that. You know, we needed to find a house quickly so that their visas could be approved before their 30 days was up. So you do have to work fast, and like I said, luckily we had an amazing realtor and we spent a week just smashing it out really quickly, and we found this beautiful home that we're in now, which we could not be more happy with. It's absolutely perfect for us right now for this initial stage of our lives here. So we feel very lucky for that, but we had to get this house so that we could get an ijari, which is a tenancy agreement basically, and a DEWA account. So those two things are vital for your visas, your children's visas being approved. So it kind of has to happen in the stage of you get your residency and then your children's visas start to process, you find a home to live in, you get an ijari and a DEWA account, and then your children's visas can be finalised at that point when you have all those bits of paperwork together. There is actually another step, again I've missed out, which might make this a bit more confusing, but basically with your children's visas you need to have their birth certificates attested and apostilled by both the UK and Dubai. So when we were in the UK we had to send our marriage certificate for me and Sarah, which is vital for the dependents visas. For the dependents visas you need to have our marriage certificate between me and Sarah and their birth certificates, both apostilled and attested in the UK by the UK government and the UAE consulate in the UK, and then again by MOFA in the United Arab Emirates, which is basically the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the UAE. So in the UK, we had to send our birth certificates and our marriage certificate off to be attested and apostilled by the UAE consulate in London in the UK, which is basically kind of getting an apostle stamp on it basically, and just to verify that they're genuine documents. Then they sent our documents to Dubai, to MOFA, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the UAE, and they attest them here as well. And then they come back to you and then they get sent off with your dependents visas. So just a checklist for your children's visas, you need to have a visa application, attested birth certificate and marriage certificate, and also an ijari and DEWA account, which you can only get once you've rented out an accommodation or bought an accommodation here to live in long term. So that's basically why we stayed in a holiday rental home at first, and that is why I guess we're in this house now. This house is absolutely perfect for us and we do love it, but there was certainly a time scale where we had to get things done very, very quickly. Everything has to happen, like I said, within 30 days of being here. You can get an extension in your children's visas, but you don't want to have to run into that time because it starts getting very, very expensive. And of course it can also be denied, and you don't want that to have to happen. In an ideal world, I would have come out on my own first, maybe a few weeks beforehand, and sorted out my residency visa and then processed the children's visa so that they had more time here, so that there wasn't kind of maybe that 30-day stress, but our lives don't work like that, and that wouldn't have worked for us as a family either. If I'd have come out here and got my residency card on my own, rented a house on my own, so I had all the paperwork in place, and then flew Sarah and the girls out and Jace, that would have taken away that 30-day stress time limit that we had. But our lives are too intertwined and our businesses are too intertwined, and that would never have worked for us in real life, doing it that way. So we had the time pressure, but it worked out absolutely fine, and at no point did it actually feel like a big stress. It kind of just all felt easy breezy. In between all of that, we were doing tons of touristy stuff and just enjoying our lives and loving our life here in Dubai. So there was at no point where it felt like a stress whatsoever. So all of those things will bring you to the point where we're at now, where we are residents of the UAE, we're living here full time, we have a home here, and life is good. Basically, it's amazing, and we couldn't be happier. It's been absolutely fantastic the last 7 weeks almost now, being here, and I just feel very, very lucky waking up every single morning, looking out the window and seeing that gorgeous blue sky. There's literally nothing like it. Now, you don't have to own a business here to move here full time. There are lots of different types of visas you can get and live here full time. We're friends with another couple that actually live a few clusters down from us here in the area that we live in, and they are both employed by a company in the UK, but they live here and work remotely. So you can get an employment visa, basically. So if you're employed by a company in Dubai, or your company has a base here in Dubai, then you can move here and work under an employment visa, and you can sponsor your spouses, children, etc. to be out here on your employment visa as well. There is also something called a job seekers visa, where you can get a short-term visa to come to Dubai to look for work as well. And then there is, I'm not 100% sure on the specifics of this one, but there is the 10-year golden visa, or even lifetime visa, potentially, if you buy property out here in the UAE. There's lots of different routes to get here. You don't have to be a business owner, you don't have to be an entrepreneur and be setting up your own business. You can apply for a job here and move, basically. When I was an aircraft turnaround manager at Leeds Bradford Airport, before all of this happened in our lives, I was offered multiple times jobs doing the same job I was doing at Leeds here in Dubai Airport, and I could have accepted. I didn't think this was ever something I could do back then, and Dubai felt like this alien land far, far away that I had no idea what it was about, so I never even considered it. But I was offered a job here a few times, working at Dubai Airport, doing the exact same job that I was doing in Leeds, but for a massive airport here in Dubai. So, and for that reason I would have got a long-term living, employment, residency here. Those type of visas, though, are dependent on you being employed. So if you lost your job, you would lose your visa. You have like a grace period where you have time to find another job, but in essence, if you're not employed and you have an employment visa, you lose your visa and you get kicked out of the country and you have to go back home. Okay, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I've just explained clearly and concisely that everyone can understand how you get to Dubai, or what our journey was anyway, on how we got to Dubai, from being in the UK, opening a business, getting our initial visas, and then coming here, medicals, biometrics, visas finalised, dependents visas, finding a house, finalising our children's visas, and now we're all here as a family, good to go. So visas are usually run on a 2-year period, whereas after 2 years, again, like I said, you have another medical, etc., to make sure that you're still healthy and whatnot, and then you extend it by another 2 years, or you can apply for a 10-year residency depending on whether you've invested in property here and how your business is doing, etc., etc. There's lots of new visa opportunities coming up all the time. I have a friend here who keeps sending me these news articles from the UAE government about these new visa that's coming. There was one for like I'm sure there was one, he said that was one for content creators coming up, that was like an automatic 10-year visa or something like that. I don't know how accurate that was, but he basically sends me stuff all the time about new visa opportunities coming up, which they are always coming up and they are vast. So Dubai is an amazing place to live. Like I said, it is one of, if not the safest country in the entire world. There is no crime here. You can, and I have done, accidentally left this very, very expensive £1,500 camera on a sunbed for 3 hours on its own when it was a very busy pool time, and I went back to go and get it after I realised I'd left it there and it was still there. I've left my wallet on a restaurant table and it was still there. Literally, you can leave £50,000 sat on a supercar front seat with the door open and a Rolex next to it, and it won't be taken because people respect the law here and people don't do that sort of thing. People in general are very, very respectful here. I've never met customer service anywhere in the world as good as Dubai. Everyone, even in every single tiny restaurant that you go to, if you have a request or you want to talk to somebody about anything, people want to listen. They don't dismiss you or act like they're too busy to listen properly. It's just a really cool place to live. And I would highly recommend it for anybody that is even considering it, to 100% go for it with all your heart, because you will not regret it. We have never met anyone yet so far that has said that they regretted it and wanted to go home. The only thing that everyone keeps saying to us is, why are you still keeping your house in the UK? Because you will be selling that within the next 2 years and you won't look back. You will never want to go back to the UK. I can't see that happening for us because I love the UK too much. I love the people we've got in the UK. I love the home. I love the greenery and the seasons. And I do miss, like I do have days where I really do miss it. I miss being able to just go get my van and go off for the weekend somewhere. And the allure of the Scottish Highlands and things like that really do tug on my heartstrings some days, for sure. But who knows what will happen. But everyone we've ever met so far has said the same thing, which is you guys will never want to go home ever. And we don't want to go home, that's for sure. But yes, darling. But thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully you understood what I was saying. Hopefully I explained it properly. I'm probably going to edit this back, hate every single second of it, and like I was talking rubbish and waffling the whole time. But fingers crossed I wasn't. And if you've got any questions, drop them in a comment below or send me a DM on Instagram or whatever platform you use, send me a message and I'll get back to you for definite. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, guys.